something was off. The words didn't match the tone. The smile didn't reach the eyes. The promise felt hollow, but you still believed it. Why? Because they were good at lying, and you were trained to trust. But here's the brutal truth. People lie constantly, not always to hurt you, sometimes just to get what they want. Validation, power, control. And if you don't know how to see through it, you'll keep falling for it. You've been lied to by friends, manipulated by lovers, deceived by people who called you brother while stabbing you in the back. Not because you're weak, but because no one ever taught you how to see until now. This video is not just a lesson, it's a weapon. Because when you can read people like a book, they can't lie to you anymore. So if you're ready to see what others can't, keep watching. It starts now. You walk past 1,000 people in your lifetime. Some are smiling, some are loud, some seem charming, but most of them are not real. They are wearing masks, polished, practiced, surgically perfect social masks. Masks built not just to protect, but to deceive. You see, people don't show you who they are. They show you who they want you to think they are. Because in a world where perception is currency, truth is a liability. That confident colleague, he's masking deep insecurity. That woman who flirts with you, maybe she wants something you haven't seen yet. That friend who overshares, he's not honest, he's deflecting. And the most dangerous ones are the ones who've worn their masks so long. They've forgotten it's a lie. They've fused with it, but there's something no mask can fully cover. The leaks, the cracks, the involuntary betrayals, subtle shifts in expression, fleeting body language, changes in voice tone, micro glitches in the illusion. Because no matter how carefully someone curates their words, the body is always broadcasting a second signal. And that signal is closer to the truth than they'll ever admit. Psychologists call it non-verbal leakage. I call it the trail left behind by the soul trying to escape the lie. And here's the part no one tells you. The smarter the liar, the smoother the mask. But the truth is still there, in the silence between their words, in the timing of their reactions, in the emotion that flashes across their face before they bury it. That's why you feel confusion. That's why something inside you goes, something's off. Because your primal brain is detecting something your logical brain hasn't caught up with yet. You were born to sense the truth, but society trained you to ignore it. They taught you to be polite, to give the benefit of the doubt, to believe words instead of patterns. But predators survive because their prey is polite. So now we begin the shift from emotional blindness to cold vision. Because once you understand that everyone hides something, you stop being fooled by the performance. You start watching the actor, not the act. The energy behind the words, not the words themselves. And when you can do that, you don't just see people, you read them, word by word, line by line, like a book. And the truth? Most people aren't deep novels. They're just repeating scripts that they don't even know they're stuck in. From childhood, you were trained to focus on what people say, not what they show. Society rewards those who trust, who give the benefit of the doubt, who assume the best in others. You were told that doubting people makes you paranoid. That silence is rude. That reading too deeply into someone's behavior is overthinking. But let me ask you this. How many times have you felt something was off, yet ignored it? That moment where someone smiled too fast, paused too long, laughed without warmth. You sensed the discomfort, the lie, the hidden motive. But instead of trusting yourself, you explained it away. You told yourself they were tired, or stressed, or shy. You gaslit yourself because it was easier than facing the truth. And that's the cost of ignorance. It's not just about missing signs, it's about what you pay for that blindness. You gave time to people who used you, loyalty to people who manipulated you, love to people who never intended to return it. And every time you ignored your instincts, your subconscious screamed a little, louder. It knew, but you didn't listen. The worst betrayals are the ones you saw coming, then silenced yourself anyway. Here's the brutal truth. People don't lie with words, they lie with performance. And when you're emotionally attached, you become their ideal audience. That's why you miss the signs. Not because you're weak, but because you wanted to. Believe. You wanted the story, the illusion, the comfort, and manipulators know this. They prey on it. They use your empathy against you, your desire to trust, your need to feel seen and safe. But here's what no one tells you. Your mind already knows who's lying. It's not your eyes that are blind, it's your training. You were never taught to trust your gut, never trained to decode the tension in a fake smile, never told that hesitation in a response is a red flag, not a coincidence. So you suffered, and that's suffering. That's the tuition you paid for wisdom. Now, you have two options. Keep trusting what people say, or start decoding what they show, because ignorance isn't innocent, it's expensive. And if you don't learn to read people, you will keep paying the price with your time, your peace, and your dignity. They'll never say it out loud. Not the betrayal, not the secret motive, not the hidden agenda that's guiding every word out of their mouth, but their body already told you. Most people think deception is hidden in clever words and fake smiles. It's not. It's in the milliseconds, the pauses, the micro shifts they don't even know they make. If you want to read people like a book, forget what they say. Watch what they leak. Let's break it down. Cold and simple. Micro expressions. The emotional flash grenades. When someone lies or suppresses emotion, the truth flashes through their face before they can mask it. A twitch of disgust when they compliment you. A flicker of fear when they deny the accusation. A spark of anger when they pretend to agree. Micro expressions last less than a second, but once you learn to spot them, you'll never unsee them. And here's the unsettling part. They don't even know they're doing it. Their face betrays them, even while their voice tries to sell you a lie. Train your eyes to watch the corners. Of the mouth, the eyebrows, the eyes. That's where the truth escapes. Voice delays, lies. Take construction. When someone speaks the truth, it flows. No thinking, no calculating. But when they lie, there's a pause, a stutter, a strange formality in their tone. Ask a simple question. Where were you last night? Truth sounds immediate. Lies sound rehearsed, delayed, polished, plastic. Listen for unnatural pauses, over-explaining shifts in pitch mid-sentence. The mouth tries to form a perfect answer, but the truth is always messier and faster. Incongruence, when the body disagrees. The most dangerous person isn't the loud liar, it's the calm, smiling one, whose fists are clenched. When words and body, language don't match, believe the body. If someone says, "I'm happy for you," but doesn't make eye contact. If they say, "I'm fine," while shifting their feet and covering their neck, you're being lied to, politely. This is the principle of incongruence. When what they say contradicts how they say it. And here's the twist. Your brain picks up on it even if you don't consciously notice. That's why something feels off. Learn to trust that instinct. The baseline method. Know their normal first. You can't detect deviation without a reference point. The mistake most people make. They try to read people when emotions are already high. Start instead by watching them when they're relaxed, laughing, distracted, not trying to impress anyone. This is their baseline, their normal blinking rate, voice tone, hand movement, posture. Once you have that, any shift becomes obvious. A sudden stiff neck when asked a direct question, a blink rate that triples after you mention someone's name, a voice pitch that rises when they defend themselves. They can control their words. They can't control their nervous system. The truth is never in the sentence. It's in the glitch, the twitch, the pause. The trick isn't becoming smarter than them. It's becoming colder than them. Still, silent, observing. You let them talk. And while they spin their perfect story, you already saw the lie form in their face, the fear rise in their throat, the betrayal twitch in their jaw. They won't even know they exposed themselves, but you'll know. You'll know everything. They don't lie because they're evil. They lie because it works. Lying, manipulation, is not just a defense mechanism. It's a weapon. And in a world where power is scarce, deception becomes currency. Think about it. Have you ever had someone flatter you right before they asked for something, or tell you what you wanted to hear, while doing the exact opposite behind your back? That wasn't random. That was calculated. Most lies aren't desperate. They're strategic. You imagine liars as cornered people, panicking, trying to save face. Wrong. The most dangerous lies are calm, delivered with eye contact, with charm, with confidence, because they're not lies to the liar. They're tools, steps in a psychological chess game they've played longer than you. Why do they lie? To gain power, without resistance. Why fight when you can deceive? Why force when you can persuade? A well-placed lie bypasses your defenses and hands them your trust, to appear stronger than they are. Insecure people lie to project dominance. They wear confidence like a mask, knowing most won't dare to look behind it. To control your perception. They don't care who you are. They care what you believe. If they control your reality, they control you. To seduce flattery, future faking, emotional bait. The lie isn't just about words. It's the illusion of safety, affection, or destiny. To avoid consequences. The easiest way to escape responsibility: bend the truth until it breaks, but never snaps. And here's the twist. The best liars are the ones you like. You think you can spot them. You think deception feels wrong. But dark psychology doesn't work because it's obvious. It works because it feels right, too right. It's the compliment that disarms you, the shared vulnerability that makes you trust, the "I would never hurt you" that gets whispered the moment before they do. The devil doesn't come dressed in red. He comes dressed as everything you ever wanted. They lie because it works on you. Not because you're stupid, but because you're human. We are wired to seek connection, not confrontation. To believe stories over silence, smiles over suspicion. That's what manipulators exploit. They lie because we listen. For years, maybe your whole life, you've been the one who listened, who believed, who gave people the benefit of the doubt. You trusted the words. You gave them space. You assumed honesty because that's how you were raised. Maybe you thought being a good man meant patience, understanding, second chances. But now you know the truth. The world isn't built for the man who waits to be told. It's built for the man who observes silently and sees everything. Because when you start reading people instead of reacting to them, something strange happens. They get uncomfortable, they feel seen, and most people aren't ready for that. Their charm doesn't work. Their performance fails. Their manipulation falls flat. And it's not because you fought back. It's because you didn't say a word. You just watched. When you turn the table, you stop chasing explanations. You stop defending yourself. You stop asking, "Why did they do that to me?" and start answering it for yourself before they even open their mouth. You see their eyes shift left when they lie. You see their fake laugh stall a half-second too long. You see the smile that doesn't touch the eyes. You don't confront. You collect data. This is where the cold power begins. You no longer need to speak to dominate a room. Your silence becomes presence. Your observation becomes control. Because when you watch long enough, people expose themselves. Not once, not dramatically, but piece by piece, until their entire mask crumbles under the weight of your attention. Most men beg to be seen, but the man who sees and says nothing, that's the man no one forgets. And here's the part they'll never understand. You're not colder because you enjoy it. You're colder because you learned. Because warmth was used against you. Because now, your clarity is your armor. This isn't paranoia. It's perception sharpened by pain. You become the reader, not the fool. The observer, not the target. The man who watches and walks away with his peace intact. You wanted clarity, you got it. But now, it comes with a cost you didn't expect. Because once you learn to truly read people, really read them, you don't just see smiles and small talk anymore. You see the glitch behind the grin, the flicker of resentment behind their praise, the little twitch in their eye when they say, "I'm happy for you." You see it all, and here's the uncomfortable truth. The more clearly you see others, the harder it becomes to connect with them. Why? Because most people aren't honest, not even with themselves. They're lying without knowing it. Performing without meaning to. They want to believe they're kind, selfless, stable. But the body tells a darker story, and now you're the man who hears it. This is the dark gift, the ability to perceive what others are trying to hide, even from themselves, to see the motive behind the compliment, the fear behind the anger, the insecurity behind the arrogance. It's not magic, it's not manipulation, it's perception sharpened by pain. But here's the warning. Once your eyes adjust to this level of awareness, there's no going back. You'll never unsee the patterns. You'll never again take someone's words at face value. You'll notice the slight tone shift when someone mentions your success. You'll feel the tension behind a lover's silence. You'll catch the hesitation in your friend's voice when you win, and it will change you. It doesn't make you bitter, it makes you selective. You stop explaining yourself. You stop seeking validation. You stop trying to make people like you, because you understand now, most people don't even know who they are, let alone what they want. And the few who do, they won't need to convince you of anything. So you grow quiet, not because you're weak, but because you're calculating. You speak less, you listen more, you look directly into people and through them. That's what this gift does. It removes the illusion of connection. You no longer trust words, you trust patterns, consistency, energy. It's lonely sometimes, but never dangerous. Because now, you see, the betrayal doesn't surprise you. The manipulation doesn't sting. The loss doesn't break you. You saw it coming the whole time. That's the price of the dark gift, but it's also the power. Cold eyes, no apologies. Trust is not something you give. It's something they earn, and most don't deserve it. You were raised to believe the good in people, but dark psychology teaches you something more raw, more honest. Most people are only as honest as their opportunity to deceive you allows. Let that sink in. Not everyone lies, but when the stakes are high, when it benefits them, when they feel threatened, when they think you won't notice, they will. And if you're still out here trusting words without watching behavior, you'll keep falling into the same trap. So from this moment on, you stop asking, "Can I trust them?" and start asking, "Do they flinch when I look closer? Do they hide behind charm? Do they speak too much or too little?" You listen to the delay before their answer. You notice how often they explain what didn't need to be explained. You learn to see, not through anger, but clarity, because the man who trusts too quickly gets played. But the man who watches, who listens for what isn't said, who knows what deception looks like before it arrives, that man doesn't just survive, he dominates. And maybe you feel a part of you changing right now, hardening, not into a bad person, but into a man who no longer mistakes kindness for safety. So here's the new law. Don't assume loyalty. Don't assume honesty. Don't assume anything. Let their patterns speak. Let their inconsistencies expose them. And let time reveal what their mask tries to hide. Trust is not your default. It's your reward. For those who deserve to stand close. Now ask yourself, who in your life has earned that right? And who are you finally done pretending to believe? This video wasn't just a lesson, it was a mirror. And maybe, for the first time, You didn't just look into it. You saw. You saw why people lied to you, why you trusted the wrong ones, why something always felt off, but you couldn't. Prove it. Now you know. And once you see, you can't unsee. You walk into rooms differently. You hear what people aren't saying. You feel the tension in their throat, the hesitation in their smile, the truth trapped behind their words. This is where it begins. Not a community of victims, but of observers. Not soft hearts seeking peace, but cold minds hunting clarity. So, here's your next move. Leave your comment below. And if this is the kind of power you've been missing, subscribe, because we're just getting started. There's more to uncover, more lies to decode, and more strength waiting on the other side of silence. You don't belong in the dark anymore. You belong with those who see. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Clarity. Now let them lie. You'll know the truth.